بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأراضين أجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين ورحمة الله وبركاته. Inshallah, today we want to discuss the topic of meeting Imam Mahdi Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif. For sure, one of the outcomes of love for someone is that you would like to meet them and talk to them, listen to them, look at them, and in general spend time with them. It's impossible that you love someone and then you don't want to meet them, or it doesn't matter whether you meet them or not. When we love someone, we want to meet them. For lovers of Imam Mahdi Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif, it's very natural that they will love to meet Imam alayhi salam, especially because they have never met him. Their thirst is even, increasing by passage of time. Sometimes you are not able to meet someone at a particular time, but you have very good memories of meeting them, talking to them. Maybe you have their, pictures, video, so you can somehow refresh yourself with those beautiful memories. But if someone you love the most and you have never had the honor of meeting, then that's making the pain of separation even more. Also, meeting Imam Zaman is something that can be a kind of reassurance, because one of the things that all the time bothers us is, am I a good person or not? Am I a good believer or not? Am I a good follower or not? If there is a way to meet Imam Zaman and see our Imam happy with us, this makes this a kind of reassurance that alhamdulillah, at least till now, I am not out of the current. I am in good situation, inshallah. Of course, there is no guarantee that if someone meets Imam afterwards, he would remain again good. We should never dismiss the chance that at any moment in the life there is possibility of losing the direction. Therefore, till end of the life, you can never relax. You have to always be looking after your piety. But if we can meet Imam, at least we can say that up to this time, alhamdulillah, my journey has been okay, and I was on the right track. And also, what adds to the significance of meeting Imam is that maybe I can ask Imam for some specific guidance, something that might not be available in the general resources that we have, as I want something specific about myself or about our time, about our community right now. Or maybe it's there, but I don't know which one applies to us now or to me now. So if I can meet Imam and ask my questions, or Imam, may guide me, then that would be great. And also it would be a way for me to have yaqeen. Sometimes you have certainty, but at the level of theories and ideas and doctrines. But to reach Ainul Yaqeen is different. We know Imam exists, but to see him is a higher level. Like Ibrahim ala nabiyyina wa alayhi salam, when he wanted to see how Allah revives the dead, he said, Rabbi arni kayfa tuhyi al-maut. Of course, he had certainty that faith requires. He had Iman, but he wanted to have peace of mind, tranquility. When Allah says to Ibrahim, أَوَلَمْ تُؤْمِنْ قَالَ بَلَى وَلَكِنْ لِيَطْمَئِنَّ قَلْبِي. Don't you have Iman? He said, yes, but I want to have peace, tranquility, and tuma'nina in the heart. So we are sure about Imam Mahdi, Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif's birth and life. We have lots of references, Sunni, Shia, and it's something that there is no doubt about it. We are also sure that many people have met Imam. Inshallah, I will talk about it. But still, if I can have the honor of meeting Imam, then my heart would be more certain. You can see a smoke from behind a wall going to a sky, and then understand there is fire, there must be a fire. This is ilmul yaqeen. But if you go behind the wall and see the fire, this is ainul yaqeen. And of course, if you can go closer and even sense the heat of the fire, or maybe even fire burns your finger, then this is haqqul yaqeen. So there are different reasons that make a believer very, very interested in meeting Imam Zaman Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif. For those who reach the level of love for Imam Zaman, then it becomes even stronger. They have no rest unless they see their beloved. They look around, they are reminded of Imam Zaman. They get to the work, but they are thinking of Imam Zaman. They go for ziyarah, for business trip, family visits, Saliyya Rahim, but all the time they are thinking of Imam Zaman. This is the case of a lover. A lover cannot forget the beloved. The last thing before they go to sleep is thinking of their beloved. The first thing when they wake up is thinking about beloved. Even during the sleep, they have dream of the beloved. So for them, it's different story. But even ordinary believers, they have great love to see Imam Zaman Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif. And in our du'as and ziyarat, this is endorsed. Actually, it is recommended, it's taught to us. For example, we say, Allahumma arini tal'ata al-rashidah wal-ghurrata al-hamidah وَاكْحُلْ نَاظِرِي بِنَظْرَةٍ مِنِّي إِلَيْهِ. Or in dua nudbah, مَتَى تَرَانَا وَنَرَاكَ وَقَدْ نَشَرْتَ لِوَاءَ النَّصْرِ تُرَى. Or أَتَرَانَا نَحُفُّ بِكَ وَأَنْتَ تَأُمُّ الْمَلَأَ. When are we going to see you and you see us? Of course, he is seeing us all the time, maybe, but we also be able to see him when he is seeing us, because many times he sees people and people don't know who he is. To have this mutual recognition. When we can get around you, وَأَنْتَ تَأُمُّ الْمَلَأَ. So this is general, but sometimes also it's individual. If we want to all see him, we have to wait for the time of zuhur, reappearance. But still it's possible that individuals see Imam alayhi salam. Maybe this sentence in Dua Nubah refers to the individual, or at least it's general. Azizun alayya an ara al-khalqa wa la tura. Azizun alayya. It's very difficult for me to see people and not see you. It's very difficult. Or Allahumma arini tal'ata al-rashidah. Oh Allah, please show me the beautiful face of Imam Zaman. So this is general, it's not just for public or collection of mu'mineen, a collection of mu'mineen, for example, meeting Imam. It's general. So in our du'as also we have reference to seeing Imam Zaman, Ajjalallahu ta'ala farajahu sharif. So it is a real, a genuine desire. It's not like desire for looking at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That Quran says, some people were asking Musa alayhi salam, لَن نُؤْمِنَ لَكَ حَتَّى نَرَى اللَّهَ جَهْرًا. We don't believe in you unless we see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala jahratan, clearly, explicitly. This is not a genuine desire. This is wrong. But to be able to see Imam Zaman, who is a human being and who is living in this world and who has physical life, and he many times is seeing us and meeting us, but we just don't recognize. So to want to see him is a genuine desire. It's possible, it has happened, and it is also encouraged. But we should not let this desire to lead to despair if we don't see Imam alayhi salam. In other words, we should not think that there must be something wrong with me if I don't see Imam alayhi salam. So I am not a good person, definitely. I have no value or honor. No. There is no such a ground, such a basis to say that if you are not able to see Imam, then you are a bad person. Many people, even very pious people, may not have seen Imam all their life. So it should not lead to despair. You should be always hopeful, but you should not be despaired if this doesn't happen. Also, it should not lead to thinking that maybe my Imam doesn't love me or doesn't care about me, and therefore your relation with Imam would be affected. I want to see him, but he doesn't want to see me. For him it's easy to see me. Why he doesn't want to see me? This is also not right. Because in the time of occultation, the main assumption is that Imam is in occultation. We talked in the course about Imam Mahdi in scholarship. What is the meaning of ghaibah and occultation? Imam is physically among us, but he is supposed to be not known to the people, not identifiable to the people. If everyone wants to see him, then how can we keep this atmosphere of ghaibah? There are many good people. If any good Shia, any good mu'min, or maybe even good believers who are connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but maybe they are not able to have the best available presentation of the truth. They are truth seeking, they are submissive in their heart, they are asking God for help. If they all are able to see the Hujjah of Allah in this time, then how can we keep ghaibah? People would then easily find him and recognize him, and dangers can happen. Also, people would not be tested, because this is a time to test also iman of people. In the course on Imam Mahdi in Islamic scholarship, we mentioned several reasons for ghaibah. About the philosophy of ghaibah, one reason was test. So we should not expect Imam alayhi salam to visit us if he cares about us or if he loves us. Say, oh Imam, either you visit me or let me visit you or meet you, or you don't love me. No, there is no such a thing. And we want to, if we want to know the situation, we have to know that Imam is more eager to see his true Shia than they are eager to see him. His love is more. So if we want to see him, he wants to see us more. How much children want to love their parents, to meet their parents? How much parents want to meet their children? I'm sure good children want to love to see their parents, but always, or maybe almost always, not 100%, maybe there are exceptions, but normally parents love to see their children more than children want to see them. Unfortunately, sometimes parents, don't visit their children don't visit their parents when they become old. They put them in elderly houses and don't visit them, etc. Some do, but I'm saying there are people that they may not visit them. They leave them alone. They go to other places, etc. But how many parents are doing this to their children? A parent never abandons his or her children, generally speaking. So Imam is very eager to meet his Shia, especially when he's seeing they have problem. He wants to help them. They are suffering. He wants to be with them. He wants to comfort them. And also, Imam is more lonely than us. We have our family, friends, community around us. Imam has few people with him, but anyway, he's more lonely. He's in the difficult situation, not us. He's in ghaibah. For him to come out of ghaibah is very desirable. But he has to wait till Allah gives permission, because situation has to be all right, and he understands that he's pleased with the decision of Allah. But for him, faraj is a great delivery. So for him also faraj is something that he wants. It's not that he doesn't want faraj. So we should not let our lack of tawfiq to visit Imam or meet him lead to despair, or lead to thinking that Imam doesn't love us or doesn't care about us. No. So if you manage to keep this and still want to love Imam, then that's great. There are 3 ways to have encounter with Imam alayhi salam. One is in your dream. Maybe this is the easiest, to have dream of Imam Zaman Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif. And normally our ulama say that if you have a dream of Ma'soom in your dream, you have met Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam or one of Ma'soomin, then you can be confident that this dream is a true dream, because Satan cannot appear as Rasulullah or as Amirul Mu'mineen. He doesn't have this permission. So it's possible that in your dream you see Imam Zaman. Of course, still what you have to do is to follow Quran and Sunnah, and when it comes to fiqh, you have to follow the most knowledgeable, pious marja'. So you act according to the rules that we have. You cannot say, for example, I had this dream and this happened, because sometimes maybe you have illusion, sometimes maybe make mistake anyway. But if there is something in line with the rules and regulations that we have, then you can act upon that dream. And if you're not sure, consult scholars, pious scholars. So first option or first possibility is to see Imam during your dream. The second is through mukashafa. What is mukashafa? Mukashafa is that you have encounter with Imam alayhi salam, but not in a physical way, not through physical eyes. Therefore, if it is mukashafa, maybe people next to you, around you, they don't see anything. Maybe you see, but people don't see. For example, we have about Allamiya Bahrul Ulum, that once when he was leading Salat, in the middle of Salat, he had a kind of pause. People noticed that he waited, something happened to him, and they didn't dare asking him. Later they went to the place that they were there, some of people who were close, and they asked the late Alim Salmasi, who was close to him, to ask, and he asked someone who was closer to ask. Finally then he says, I was the one who was ajsarun nas, I dared more than others to ask. And he asked Allamiya Bahrul Ulum, and he said, I saw Imam Mahdi coming and saying salam to his father. This was in Samir. So he saw Imam, but ulama, people who were there, they didn't see Imam alayhi salam. This is called mukashafa. And sometimes it is possible that two people in two different places, they can have mukashafa of Imam Zaman, as two people can have dreams of Imam Zaman in different places at the same time. Someone in the east, someone in the west, at the same time they can have dream of Imam Zaman, or they can have mukashafa of Imam Zaman. But Imam Zaman, with his physical presence, can only be in one place at each time. Yes, he can move quickly from one place to another place. This moment here, next moment there. But at the same moment, physically, he is in one place. Because he is like us. He has body. And body can only be in one place. Mukashafa, no, can be happening to several people at the same time. Even you can have mukashafa of people who have passed away, who are in barzakh. You can have mukashafa of Rasulullah. You can have mukashafa of Abu Abdullah alayhi salam. There have been people who had mukashafa, not dream. Even mukashafa of Karbala. Mukashafa is possible to go beyond time and space. But seeing with these eyes is limited to time and space. So if you see Imam Zaman, then everyone there also would see. Yes, they may not know who he is, but they see this person. So there are three possibilities of meeting Imam Zaman. Sometimes in your dreams, sometimes in mukashafa, which happens to the people that are very pious, either always very pious, or maybe sometimes when they are suffering, and because of that suffering they have been purified, at least at that time. And then when you are awake, you can see Imam Zaman. But we have to consider a few points. It's not that every person who meets a pious person is meeting Imam Zaman, or meets a person who is very spiritual, very charismatic, has light, has met Imam Zaman. Even if that person, for example, has signs of ghaib. For example, someone is desperate, someone who has lost the way, and meets someone who knows him or her, speaks the same language as his or her, helps quickly. It's not that necessarily this person is Imam Zaman, because Imam Zaman has helpers, and sometimes to solve problems of people he may send his helpers. Also, there are mu'mineen that they may not be specifically helpers of Imam Zaman, but there are mu'mineen that Allah inspires them to help people. So this is also possible. So it's not that every case that someone meets a person who is very godly, very much illuminating and shining, someone who knows ghaib, is Imam Zaman. There can be many other people. But it is also possible that one meets Imam Zaman with physical appearance. Those who meet Imam Zaman with his physical appearance, many times they never know that they met Imam Zaman. For example, in Hajj, they may meet Imam Zaman, but they may not know he is Imam Zaman. Till end of their life, they may not know that he is Imam Zaman. He was Imam Zaman. In our resources, we had this, that every season of Hajj he attends, he knows the people and know them. He meets the people, yarahum wa ya'rifuhum. he's, viewing them and knowing them. They see him, but they don't know him. So physical encounter has happened, but they don't know that it was Imam. Till end of their life, they don't know he was Imam. This is very common, more common than the other two. The second option is that they meet physically Imam, and later they realize that it was Imam. Many times when they see Imam, even if they know that there are spiritual things, there are special things, connection to ghaib, etc., it doesn't click in their mind that it is Imam. And later they know that it's Imam. This is more common than the next one. So the most common is the first. They may meet and never know that it was Imam. Second is that they meet, they talk, they have encounter, but later they realize it was Imam. The third is to meet, to talk, and at the same time that they are with Imam, to know that he is the Imam. This is very rare and exceptional. It's possible, but it's very rare. And normally this happens to the people who are very high in spirituality, very pious, very pure. To some of great scholars this has happened, like Allami Bahrul Ulum, like Sayyid ibn Tawus, like Muqaddas Ardebili. And somehow these people are acquainted with Imam in the sense that they know even the tone of the Imam. You remember I talked about Sayyid ibn Tawus hearing from Sardab Muqaddas in Samarra. Imam is praying for Shia. Even can happen to ordinary mu'minin if they are very pious, but this is very rare. So meeting Imam in dreams is possible. Meeting Imam as mukashafa is possible. Meeting Imam in physical environment is also possible, and it has three options. Then you may ask, what about the hadith that suggest we should not accept the claim of people who say they have seen Imam Zaman? For example, in the Tawqi', in one of the Tawqi'at, we have this, that man idda'a al-mushahada, whoever claims mushahada before, for example, coming of Sufyani, etc., we should not accept. There's discussion here, and some ulama have discussed about the sanad of this tawqi. Some said no, sanad is okay, but I can summarize the answer or the attitude towards this text and text like this in this way. And I think maybe this is something that is very logical. If someone says that Imam has come, Zuhur has started, so idda al-mushahada in the sense that publicly, collectively, we can see Imam, before certain signs happen, we should not accept. And I humbly believe that when Imam Mahdi comes, there would be no ambiguity at all for mu'mineen and sincere people, even those who are not Shia of Imam, but they're sincere. There is no ambiguity for them, and they would hear the call of Imam. It would be very obvious for any truth-seeking person. Allah would not, expect people to go by guessing or, trial and error. Hujjah should be complete. So there is no worry. It's going to be very clear. And we can always refer to our, pious, knowledgeable scholars, Maraja, who would help us in this regard if there is any ambiguity. But as I say, I believe there would be no ambiguity. So if someone claims this has happened, don't listen. There are signs you can check. Number two, if someone says, I have regular access to Imam, I meet him anytime I want, or every week at this time I meet Imam, you can ask Imam through me whatever you want. I will be answering Imam to you. This is also to be rejected. None of our ulama has claimed such a thing. No one has ever said from reliable people that I have regular meeting with Imam. I can meet him anytime I like. Even if they had more than once, even if they had repeated encounters, but it was never possible for them to plan in advance or to expect in advance. It always comes as a surprise gift. And they never said, I am the gate, I am Bob, through whom you can connect. I am the link through whom you can connect to Imam. This is time of Ghibat al-Kubra. No one should claim that. So if anyone claims that, we don't accept. Then it comes to people who don't claim like this. They don't claim Imam has come as beginning of the movement. They don't claim they have regular access. They may say, I met Imam once or more than once. I didn't expect. Even they may say, I don't deserve, I have no connection to Imam, I don't know whether I'm going to see him again, but I have seen Imam. What should we do with these people? In order to stop any person misusing the love of the Shia for their own personal, gain, or in order to stop trusting people that maybe they suffer from some mental illness, maybe they are not, lying, but they mistakenly think. Sometimes people have mental illnesses, or sometimes, people, imagine they have sometimes there is illusion, they have no experience, they are naive, they think, they met Imam Zaman. And they say it honestly. Sometimes you can say honestly something which is mistaken. So in order to block misuse or mistaken ideas spreading, any person who meets Imam Zaman should keep it to himself or herself as much as they can. And people who hear this should not believe it. We don't say you are a liar, na'udhu billah. No, we don't accuse people. Because it's possible. Especially if someone has a good, life record, it's possible. But we don't act upon it. We just leave it in a kind of limbo. But there are people that we are 100% sure about their taqwa, about their knowledge, about having sound understanding. about being trusted by all Shia community, all our scholars, if we know that they said, or they accepted when it was said that they had meeting with Imam, this is different. For like someone, someone like Allama Bahrul Ulum, there is no slight doubt about his taqwa, his knowledge, his exceptional piety. And no alim has questioned this, that he might have met Imam, and we have reports which are verified about him meeting Imam, or Sayyid ibn Tawus. And it is a blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we have such reports. And sometimes these ulama, they may have mentioned this to other people, or maybe after their lives this was allowed to be mentioned, because then all the community benefit from this. They realize this is possible. They realize that how much Imam is close to us. Imam is so close to us as Yusuf was to his brothers. But they didn't know who was Yusuf. And therefore they said, when they realized that he must be Yusuf, Anta Yusuf? Are you Yusuf? Or Ainnaka Anta la Yusuf, something like this. I just doubted. Are you really Yusuf? Something like this. Imam is very close to us. Through these verified reports, we can add to our yaqeen, iman, and be hopeful that inshallah other people can also see. We hope many people inshallah see Imam Zaman. Even if it's not me, inshallah other people see. Inshallah our maraja can see. Whoever sees Imam Zaman is a gain for all of us. But with all the points that we mentioned so far. For this reason, we see that some of our scholars have tried to collect the reports of encounter with Imam Zaman. For example, Sayyid Hashim Bahrani has a book, Tabsiratul Wali fi man ra'al Imam al-Ghaib. Tabsira means to give basira, to give insight to Wali, means whoever is a Wali Shia, about people who saw Al-Imam al-Ghaib, the 12th Imam. Also, he has Tazkiratul Talib fi man ra'a al-Imam al-Ghaib. Tazkira means to remind. There is Darus Salam fi man faza bis salam al-Imam by Sheikh Mahmoud Maysami al-Iraqi. Bada'i'ul Kalam fi man ijtama'a bil Imam by Sayyid Jamaluddin Muhammad ibn Hussein Yazdi Tabatabai. Al-Bahja fi man faza bi liqa'il hujjah by Mirza Muhammad Taqi Al-Masi Isfahani. Al-Abqariyul Hisan fi Tawarikh Sahib al-Zaman. In this book also there is mention of people who met Imam Zaman by Sheikh Ali Akbar Nahawandi. Also, Muhaddith Nuri, the teacher of Sheikh Abbas Qummi, in An-Najm al-Thaqib, mentions 100 reports of the people who met Imam Zaman Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif. One report that he says, if in this book there was nothing except this book was worth compiling, is the story of meeting of Haj Ali Baghdadi with Imam Zaman. In An-Najm al-Thaqib and Jannatul Ma'wa, in two books he mentions this story. Sheikh Abbas Qumi also mentions this story, but also this story actually is mentioned by Allami Majlisi in Bihar al-Anwar. Inshallah, in the next session I will mention this story. I would like to end with a reference or remembrance of Hazrat Ali Akbar in the night of the 8th of Muharram. Let us remember Hazrat Ali Akbar. You all know about the character and appearance of Hazrat Ali Akbar and his way of talking. أشبه الناس برسول الله خلقا وخلقا ومنطقا. His khalq, his creation was like Rasulullah. His khulq, his akhlaq was like Rasulullah. His mantiq, his way of talking was also like Rasulullah. Maybe meant his tone was like Rasulullah. Although his logic also was like Rasulullah, because when someone's character is like Rasulullah, his logic is like Rasulullah. And Imam Hussein alayhi salam had great love for him, because Imam's love is exceptional. Imam, as Imam, we said, loves us much more than our parents love us. Now imagine if Imam is also a father for someone, so he has love as Imam, he has love as a father, especially for someone like Ali Akbar, that has all the merits, plus is a person who reminds them of Rasulullah. How much Imam loved Rasulullah? He had great love for Rasulullah. It says whenever we missed Rasulullah, whenever we had eagerness, كلما اشتقنا, whenever we had اشتياق, shawq, eagerness to see Rasulullah, we looked at Ali Akbar. Now, this beloved son of Imam is asking for permission to go to the battle. And it is interesting that it was not that Imam was saying, you should go for battle. They come and ask for permission. Sayyid ibn Tawus in Al-Luhuf, which has just recently been also added to al-Islam.org, the English translation. So in Al-Luhuf, Sayyid ibn Tawus says, فَلَمَّا لَمْ يَبْقَ مَعَهُ سِوَى أَهْلِ بَيْتِ. When no one was remaining with Imam except his Ahlul Bayt. So it means that all the companions were martyred, because companions had made this decision. And as I told you, Habib ibn Madahir told to Lady Zainab the night of Ashura that till we are alive, we don't let anything reach Ahlul Bayt. So when companions were killed and only Ahlul Bayt remained, خرج علي بن الحسين عليه السلام. Hazrat Ali Akbar went to Imam. وكان من أصبح الناس وجها وأحسنهم خلقا. He was one of the most beautiful people and one of the people with greatest akhlaq, temper. فاستأذن أباه في القتال. He asked his father for permission. فأذن له. Imam quickly gave permission. For Qasim ibn al-Hasan, as we said, Imam didn't give permission right away. He had to insist. But for his own son, he gave permission quickly. ثم نظر إليه نظر آيس من. Then Imam looked at Ali Akbar the way a person who is losing hope looks at someone. He knew that he is losing Ali Akbar very soon. وأرخى عينه وبكى, and he cried. ثم قال اللهم اشهد فقد برز إليهم غلام أشبه الناس خلقا وخلقا ومنطقا برسولك. Oh Allah, you be witness. A young person is going to them who resembles the Rasul, who resembles your messenger the most in creation, in akhlaq, in mantiq. وَكُنَّا إِذَا اشْتَقْنَا إِلَىٰ نَبِيِّكَ نَظَرْنَا إِلَيْهِ. Whenever we wanted to look at the Prophet, we looked at Ali Akbar. فَصَاحَ وَقَالَ يَا ابْنَ سَعْدٍ. This shows how much Imam was in pain. Then Imam raised his voice and said, "O Umar Sa'd, قَطَعَ اللَّهُ رَحِمَكَ كَمَا قَطَعْتَ رَحِمِي." You are depriving me of my son. May Allah punish you. فتقدم نحو القوم فقاتل قتالا شديدا وقتل جمعا كبيرا. Despite his young age, but he has the blood of Amirul Mu'mineen. He is brought up by Imam Hussein, so he's a brave fighter. He made a severe qital. ثم رجع إلى أبي وقال يا أبت العتش قد قتلني وثقل الحديد قد أجهدني. He went to Imam Hussein and said, "My father, thirst is killing me. The burden, the weight of this shield is also very difficult to cope. فهل إلى شربة من الماء سبيل." Is there any way to drink some water? فبكى الحسين عليه السلام وقال وقوثا يا بني قاتل قليلا فما أسرع ما تلقى جدك محمدا صلى الله عليه وآله فيسقيك بكأسه الأوفى شربة لا تظمأ بعدها أبدا. Imam Hussein said, "My dear son, go and fight a little. It would be very soon that you meet your grandfather Rasulullah, and he would give from his cup a drink to you that you would never become thirsty again." This was an opportunity for Ali Akbar to meet his father one more time. فرجع إلى موقف النزال وقاتل أعظم القتال. Ali Akbar went back to the battlefield and made a great fight. فَرَمَاهُ مُنْغِذُ بْنُ مُرَّةِ الْعَبْدِ لَعَنَهُ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى بِالسَّهْمِ. Although they were many in number, but they were afraid of fighting one by one. So Munghidh ibn Murrah shoot an arrow towards Ali Akbar. فصرعه. Ali Akbar fell down. فنادى يا أبتا عليك السلام. My father, this is my farewell to you. هذا جدي يقرأك السلام ويقول لك عجل القدوم علينا. This is my grandfather, Prophet, who is sending his salam to you and says, come to us quickly. ثم شيخ شهقة فمات. فجاء الحسين حتى وقف عليه. Ali Akbar after that died and had last breath and passed away. Imam Hussein came towards the body of Ali. وَوَضَعَ خَدَّهُ عَلَى خَدِّهِ. He put his cheek on the cheek of Ali Asghar, Ali Akbar. وقال قتل الله قوما قتلوك ما أجرهم على الله وعلى انتهاك حرمة الرسول على الدنيا بعدك العفا. ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. نسألك اللهم وندعوك باسمك العظيم الأعظم الأعز الأجل الأكرم بالقرآن المستحكم وبفاطمة وأبيها وبعلها وبنيها. يا الله 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 يا رحمن يا رحيم يا مقلب القلوب ثبت قلبي على دينك. O Allah, please send the best of your salutations to Muhammad and all Muhammad. Please include us among true mourners of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam and all the martyrs of Karbala. Please enable us to comfort the heart of Imam Zaman through joining him in his pain and suffering. Please hasten the coming of Imam Zaman and make it as soon as possible and as easy as possible. Please honor us by being with Muhammad and all Muhammad in dunya and akhirah, to have tawfiq of their ziyarah and connection with them and work for their cause in dunya and having their shafa and company in the hereafter. Please give shafa to all people who are ill, especially those who have difficult illnesses. Please send rahman maghfirah to all mu'mineen and mu'minat from beginning to the end of history, especially those who have rights upon us. Please bless our parents who are alive with health, dignity, joy, and enable us to serve them. And those who have passed away, please be very kind and generous with them. Please make the last moment of our life the best moment of our life. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.